I was homeschooled for 12 years. And when I get done with the 1200 reasons why I left religion, I am going to list a few good things that I did learn out of religion. Because not everything religion does is bad. But I do want to make a list of a few things that I did learn that were positive because of religion, fundamentalism, and the white supremacist curriculum. Fundamentalism loves to control education, which is why in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, homeschooling became something that was legal, encouraged, and viewed by society, by a lot of people, as something that was positive, especially if you were in focus on the family or extreme Baptist church environments. Homeschooling by secular people can be a great thing. If it's religious people, it can be religious indoctrination. 19 Kids and Counting showed us a lot of what happens when kids don't experience secular, factual education. I mean, when I grew up, I learned a lot about the Bible, I learned about science, math, and when I did take state qualifying exams during No Child Left Behind in the 2000s, post 9/11 era, I performed well above average. So being homeschooled can, for some kids who are quick learners, who are very intelligent, can be a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing when you include religion. Religion should never be in education. That doesn't mean you can't ever talk about religion when it comes to history. But the goal isn't to have a Sunday morning worship service. I mean, secular school, they teach you about the Crusades. They teach you about how religion killed off a lot of people and how it changed the modern world. But homeschooling for religious people is like putting a green light on a freeway and letting people go crazy by accelerating. A lot of kids who have survived religious homeschooling do not meet the minimum requirement for a specific grade according to their age. A lot of the curriculum in Christian homeschooling is extremely racist, homophobic, sexist, very colonialization. I use things like ABECA, which is a Pensacola, Florida curriculum. Very racist. I mean, they justify all kinds of genocide and the colonialization of America. Almost no focus on condoms and safe sex and pathology. They blamed women for a lot of the world's problems. It was very trad wife, very anti-minority, very bad. And for many years, I actually believed that the genocides listed in the Bible were godly because if God made the people, he could decide who died. Now, this is not acceptable. I don't care what god or goddess you are. Nobody has the right to tell a group of morally superior people, at least that's what they thought of themselves, to go and kill people. And education in this country, especially in the Bible Belt, is a joke. I've met several people who were the world's expert in education. They would travel to different states and countries and continents to find out what countries have quality education. The answer isn't America. We are not. A lot of Asian countries and European countries, very high on quality factual education that's very inexpensive. I mean, America has the audacity to provide crappy education for 3 times the amount of money required compared to places like Japan. I mean, they're known for having some of the best education on the planet, and they don't pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for crappy education. Religious homeschooling is fine. Well, let me rephrase that. Secular homeschooling is fine if your kid meets and excels placement tests. If they have a higher vocabulary and they just perform better being homeschooled, that's fine. I do believe we need to add a ton of government and state rules for homeschooling. Every curriculum for homeschooling needs to be approved by the state and federal government. And from what I've learned from certain educators, the tops of their field, very few Christian curriculum would even meet the minimum for factual education without racism and for inclusion. Most of them wouldn't even meet the bare minimum. So I don't think religious homeschooling is a good thing. I have noticed that people who come from religious homeschool or just homeschool in general qualify higher for like citizenship test taking. But when it comes down to critical thinking and learning about evolution and secular politics, religious homeschooling just can't measure up because it's indoctrination. And as long as we allow and elect religious fundamentalists to school board mayorship positions, and while they're villainizing factual education and safe sex education, I mean, fundamentalist Christians, they don't want you to teach their kids how to be safe, sexual, full human beings. And this is a problem. I mean, they want abstinence-only sex ed education. That increases STIs. Abstinence-only education has never stopped an STI. It's only increased people catching diseases. Because abstinence only does not stop people from having sex. And there's no evidence that proves that talking about sex makes someone more likely to do it. So we need to start educating our kids regardless of our beliefs. We need people who have PhDs in education, who are the top people in the world or in the country. Create curriculum that inspires people to be free thinkers, objective thinkers, and people who pursue the truth, even if it goes entirely against their generational religion.